When you are the boss and it's your money on the line, you just can't afford to have any false hopes about the economy. You have to be absolutely realistic about whether it makes sense to expand in an economy that's never fully recovered since the last recession. That's why we love to have on folks who are taking a chance to expand despite the bad news, knowing all the risks. Joining us now is Dan DeZio. He is CEO of Philly Pretzel Factory, Matt Friedman, CEO of Zone, and Rick Silva, CEO of Checkers and Rallies. And between these guys, we have about 1,000 restaurants listed, so we've got it well represented. Dan, I want to go to you first and ask each one of you, as a matter of fact, why expand now? I mean, with an economy that's barely growing along at about an anemic 2%, why are you expanding this time?
Well, for us, our concept is based on value. So right now, the marketplace is good for us to grow. We just started franchising in 2005, so we ran into the wall of the economy in 2007, 2008. So for us, we've been expanding through the economy because of the value base, but we're seeing the costs go up dramatically in the commodities, the flour that we use. We also see even the real estate market, even though it's gone down a little bit, the shopping centers and the strip centers, the 1,400 to 1,800 square feet that we usually go into, the rents are just high. We do realize that we're selling pretzels here. It's a snack item, and it's important for us to be able to provide a situation for our franchisees to be able to make a profit.
We haven't even talked about regulatory costs and taxes going up. Matt, you got about 70 locations. Why are you expanding?
Well, franchising's our model right now, and you know, it's been a great run for us at Zone, but really we've been able to come up with some new and innovative models, some non-traditional ones, growing on military bases.
Oh, that's
this year we're expanding into major college markets as well, and even into casinos. So we've taken a little different approach with our franchising model and looking at probably some non-traditional formats. We can get into as little as 500 square feet. And it does really allow us to expand the brand and grow and to become a global organization.
You know, it's interesting. Sometimes tough times force innovations that you wouldn't have thought of if it was perhaps better times. Rick, you have 778 restaurants, and you're thinking of expanding into that number. Why now?
We're actually expanding both on the company and the franchise side. It's a great time for us to expand. We've got a very value-centric brand, and so, in fact, for the last 2 years, we've had positive comp sales every single month, and we're already 5% up this year. But we've been able, like some of the other folks on the program, we've been able to design very efficient buildings. In fact, last year we rolled out a brand new building style that only cost $500,000 to build without real estate. That restaurant delivered $1.2 million in sales last year. That's a great sales to investment ratio. So when you got those numbers, you definitely want to expand.
Let me just repeat that. It cost under $300,000 and you're making $1 million bucks from it?
$500,000 to build, and that's without real estate. And that restaurant sold $1.2 million last year. That's a sales to investment ratio of over 2 to 1.
That's incredible.
And that's very, very strong. Yeah.
Very good stuff. We got to remember, by the way, a lot of great companies built up in the late 70s when we were growing with even more constraints than we have, I think, now, companies like FedEx. So you can expand in a down market. But, Dan, look at what's dragging you down. Let's start with that new health care law, because now if you have over 50 employees, you're forced to pay out money that you weren't forced to pay out before. Is that sort of curbing the number of employees that you might want to hire?
Well, it definitely does for our multi-unit franchise owners who have multiples of stores, and they're starting to come up on that 50 employees. I mean, it's something they're thinking of. I just talked to a franchisee the other day, said he's at 48 employees, and he's concerned about expansion because he doesn't want to get over that 50, and it's a scary thought for him, a proposition.
Rick, I hear that all the time from restaurant owners, and we talked to quite a few here, that it is really forcing people to cut back either that or switching people from full-time, which is now defined as 30 hours a week, to part-time. Are you being forced to do anything like that, Rick?
Absolutely. Our franchisees are finding the cost pressures not only of the healthcare reform, but increased taxation and increased regulation, and they're going to have to make some decisions. We're fortunate. Our business model is still very, very healthy, and they've got a little bit of room in the margins. But when they get to that point, you know, unlike the federal government, we can't run deficits. You go out of business if you don't balance your books. And so they have to find ways of finding efficiencies. We've helped our franchisees with technology in the restaurants to help them be even more profitable with their labor and their food costs. tough. But at the end of the day, you'll see a lot of small businesses, I'm afraid, having to pass some of those costs on to the consumers and, to your point, to the employees as well by having to reduce the number of full-time employees.
Well, Matt, what about you? Do you actually go out and try to help your franchisees, folks who can't on their own figure out how to cope with all these new expenses?
Well, we've got a great franchise support system. We're based here in Atlanta, Georgia. Our main business model is a owner-operator model, so it's a simple model. Typically, a wing zone can operate with as few as 8 to 10 full and part-time employees. So, we really believe in the simplicity model, and we really own a core product, which is wings in a variety of flavors. So, it's been a great run for us, and the prognosis for us with our franchise model is very strong.
Dan, taxes is always a problem, of course, if you have a business. But nowadays, the last tax overhaul was supposed to simplify things. I think it's made things a lot more complicated. What do you think?
Obviously, it's a concern. And again, trying to know the rules is really important. And at least we know where we are. I feel like our franchisees, with the new model that we created, which is a smaller scale down model, our normal store was 1,400 to 1,800 square feet. Now bringing it down to 250 square feet allows them to be more profitable, and ultimately they may have to pay more taxes.
All right. And quick, guys, we only have a chance for one sentence from each of you, starting with Rick. Rick, if there was one guy that was controlling this economy from inside the Beltway, what would you tell him to do in order to simplify your life?
Focus on job creation for small businesses. That's the fuel that we need to move this economy forward. Franchisees are a perfect source.
And Matt, how would you get that done? What's the best thing that the government could do to make that happen?
Well, this is a simple answer for me. This is about lending requirements or lending ability for people to own small businesses, especially franchises. It's very difficult to get a small business loan right now, and I think that can drive the economy by really investing in some of the entrepreneurs in this country.
And Dan, again, the president's listening to you. What would you tell him?
I would ask him to really focus on the job creation, freeing up the capital so that franchisees like mine that want to grow, we have franchisees that want to get involved, but they're limited about going through the protocol of getting a loan, and it's a difficult challenge.
Dan DeZio, Matt Friedman, Rick Silva, you're all heroes. Thank you for doing what you do, for keeping our economy growing. Appreciate you guys coming on.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you.